We are not licensed medical professionals. The thoughts and opinions expressed on this podcast are meant to share our experiences and not to diagnose or as a form of treatment. If you or anyone you know is currently suffering, respectfully encourage them to seek help from a licensed medical professional. The topics discussed in this podcast may be triggering for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Now Try It with Wine. My name's Mary.
And I'm Des. And in today's episode, it is our mid-finale episode. Woo! This is episode 10. So I noticed episode 5 was funny. And so I guess we'll keep it in increments of 5. So episode 10 is going to be like a little questionnaire. Mary and I are playing 20 questions today because our last 2 episodes were a little heavy.
I still expect to get the scoop on Des with my questions.
So these questions, Mary and I both have 20 questions for each other, and we'll both answer each one. But I guess it's just more so to give the listeners a little more info about us. Obviously, we put all our trauma out there. But do you know what kind of pen I like? No.
Or like our personal perspectives on life and like different aspects of life. I went real like theological.
I went funny. Mary said it shows like our personalities, which totally makes sense.
Yeah, because we're both very different in how we approach things. So I think it's kind of fun to hear the others. So I'll get to be light and funny this episode, and Des will get to be the serious one this episode.
Oh my gosh. So I guess I'll start it. But again, this isn't really anything. It's what?
We forgot the wine.
Oh, fuck. Hold on.
Pause. So Des and I are going to change it up from our previous wine format. Going forward, we will announce the brand and type of wine.
We want to be honest and true with y'all. Is it good?
Is it bad?
Is it ass?
Is it worth it?
Does it smack?
We're going to find out. So this week's wine is from Prima Mazo. I think I said that right.
It's a Moscato.
D'Assi. There's a difference between regular Moscato and Moscato D'Assi. We don't know what it is, but it's different. It tastes different. It hit different. So just a little excerpt about the wine. This one features flavors and aromas of peaches and tangerines and orange blossom honey.
I don't even think I've ever tried this one, so that's new for me.
And it's enhanced by the D'Assi to be light fuzziness and balanced with crisp and acidic flavors to enhance the sweetness while retaining the creamy mouth feeling. I want my mouth to feel creamy.
Mary, I could make a lot of jokes with that.
I was meaning to set you up. All right, let's pour this bad boy.
Okay, here's your glass.
Thank you.
And I'll pour my glass. I think you should have been a little closer.
My bad.
Ooh, that's crisp as fuck. You can even hear the sizzling.
And the bubbles. All right, let's give this bitch a shot.
Wait. Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
I actually like that.
Very juicy.
Very light.
Yeah.
Not so heavy tasting. It doesn't taste real syrupy either.
Right. I like it.
I like it. This one, I give it, what is it? 1 out of 5? How will we score it?
For me, it's a solid 3.
Right? I think it needs a little more boldness in the peach flavor.
Yeah.
For me, just to balance it out a little bit more.
Personally, it's a little too juicy for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the consistency. I like the light consistency of it. So you would think it'd be a little more winey tasty. Yeah. And it's kind of...
I would enjoy more, though.
Yeah, and I think it maybe an accompaniment with like strawberries or something to bring out more of the flavor.
Look at us, wine connoisseurs.
The educators of the wine.
I like the handles, too. That's nicer.
Yeah, we converted to like giant coffee cups.
Okay, I guess I'll start off with my number 1. So my number 1 is, what is your favorite type of pen? Like a writing pen.
Des knows this. I'm obsessed with the Pilot friction pens. I have them in every color. One year I asked for them for Christmas from anybody who asked me. Like, what do you want for Christmas? I want Pilot friction pins.
Oh my God.
And only one person took me seriously, which was my mom. And I literally cried when I opened it. I was so excited. It was the best gift I got from anybody. Because that's all I'm really basic.
So, I'm a little different. And when I mean different, I'm left-handed. Mm-hmm. So, when it comes to pens, y'all, I am a pen connoisseur, as you would say. Because if I write and it smears, it's all over my hand. So my favorite pens are I can't remember. It's called Zebra. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Zebra.
Stainless steel Zebra. Stainless.
Ooh, that sounds fancy.
Steel.
Like those fountain pens.
Zebra pen. Yeah, Zebra pen retractable ballpoint. I don't even care. Like, if it's like $20, I'll buy it again.
Ooh.
It is so good. I have 2 upstairs.
I love the ballpoint pens. They roll really pretty,
Me
but
too.
I like the friction pens just because I like a lot of color and I make a lot of mistakes when I'm writing. So I need something that's going to erase it real easy.
Yeah.
And that's why I like those friction pens.
I do like the friction pens, but like, at least for me as a left-hander, like if I really need like, quote unquote, a professional pen, that's the pen I go to.
If I was going to turn something in like paperwork, I wouldn't use it because then I'd be afraid the friction pen. I wouldn't use it because I'd be afraid it would smudge.
Yeah.
So my first question is, what is your definition of success?
Money. Money.
Money, 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 money.
I guess just to be comfortable, like if Andrew and I were able to buy something without thinking, are we going to be able to pay this bill next month?
Yeah.
What about you? These were your own questions.
I know, but I didn't think about it for myself necessarily. I want to say for me, and like if I'm talking about like my marriage and like feeling successful and like if I feel like I have strong connections with my husband and my family. Like they don't have to be perfect, but I want to have good relationships with people. And I think that's what my whole goal has been through my therapy journey, is to be myself and be around other people.
Yeah.
So I think for me right now, my version of success is being able to be myself in every situation.
Okay. I like that.
Thank you.
It's good. Okay. Mine is, do you have a quote that you live by?
I do. There's a quote by Tupac, actually.
Tupac Shakur.
That I'm obsessed with. It's I think I told you this one, where just because we're no longer friends doesn't mean you made an enemy from me. I'm bigger than that. I want to see you eat, just not at my table. So for me, one of my biggest hurdles in life is getting rid of toxic people, because I feel almost like it's my responsibility to always be a good person and always rise above it. And in my mind, that means never abandoning people, even if they're ugly to me and horrible to me. Like, I will never leave.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of loyalty. And I think that what I should be doing is understanding that just because I'm not friends with them anymore doesn't make me a bad person for wanting to put distance in that relationship. So I've been like quoting that to myself all the time.
That's good though. It's a good like forgive, but don't forget. You know?
Yeah, you can forgive and want someone to be happy.
Yeah.
And just not be in their lives anymore, and that's okay.
Exactly how the quote goes, just not at my table.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is, I don't know if she said it, but it was Audrey Hepburn. Nothing's impossible. The word itself says I'm possible. I know it's so cliche.
But I like it.
Well, yeah, my dad, he had two, or my dad and my mom, obviously. It takes two to tango. They had two girls, so my dad would always tell us, like, it's going to be a little harder for you because you're a girl, but nothing's impossible. You can do whatever you want. My dad's also a bubble popper.
Yeah.
But he was like a realistic person, so I guess that's why I've always thought, like, I can do it. Maybe I won't get to the level I want to be at, but I can still do it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, your question's next.
Okay. What do you like most about yourself?
My fat, juicy arse.
I don't like anything physical about myself, to be honest. I think
now I feel like I'm objecting myself.
you're objectifying yourself. You turned yourself into a sex object.
No, no.
I think the one thing I like about myself is my connection with my brothers and how I've been able to maintain that. I think that's the one thing, if I had to say I was proud of anything about myself, is that I haven't allowed, even when it would have been easier, for those relationships to deteriorate. Like, I pride myself on how close I am to them.
Mary, you said you were going to be the funny one this time. You're being a little deep.
I know, I'm sorry. I just take a lot of it, like, I think I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I need to take things more seriously than I was.
Yeah, that's okay to do it. Other than my ass, I would say, I guess my personality. I am quiet and sometimes timid, but like I do open up to people, and I try to like be the host of a party, even if it's not like my party. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're trying to be engaged.
Yeah, I always want to make sure like everyone's being talked to and everyone is
feeling
noticed.
Comfortable.
Yeah. What's my next one? If money wasn't an issue, what would you be doing right now?
The podcast. I love doing the podcast. And like, I'd be doing it more often if I didn't have a job and school and like all this other stuff going on.
Money wasn't an option.
I would still be going to school though. Like, if I even have had unlimited resources, like Robert and I were talking about, like if we ever won the lottery, I'd still want to go to school and get as many fucking degrees as possible, because that's another thing I really love, is that that's one thing no one can take from me, is all the reading I've done, the schooling I've done, the like everything I've gained. No one can invalidate that or say I didn't do it or I didn't deserve it, because I did.
I was going to say school too. I did have to take like, was it half a year, Andrew? Because of the wedding? We just couldn't afford the wedding and me going to school.
Yeah, it's
as
expensive.
well as it was stressful as shit planning a wedding, so I just decided not to do it in general. That's embarrassing.
I know. I'm so sorry, Andrew. I'm going to move this. I had to take time off.
Yeah, if money wasn't an issue, I guess school as well, but also traveling.
Yeah, I love to travel.
But I would say like out of country, not just in the United States. But
Yeah.
also Andrew doesn't like planes, so I'm not really sure how far I could get.
As long as Puka can go with me, I'll go with you. I'll go with you.
Okay, you're next.
If you had a magic wand, what would you change in the world?
I don't know, man. You want me to be like, world peace?
I guess maybe we'll rephrase it. What would you change in your world?
I guess money.
Right?
I would break it like Harry Potter did. Just to make everything fucking worse.
I know. I never, like, we talked about this off the podcast. I didn't like that happened. I felt like that was ridiculous. I mean, Dumbledore had that wand for years.
It's just, you never know what's going to happen. And especially you're fucking Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Someone's always coming for you, no matter who. Like who it is. It could have been thou who shall not to be named. Voldemort. Or it could have been somebody else. You just never know. And he was like, my best weapon needs to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't get it.
Why?
I don't get it.
That's why I don't even like Harry Potter. I'm just kidding.
Cyrus, cover your ears.
Let me see. So Mary, I know, but I don't know if the listeners know, she is a huge bookworm.
Mm-hmm.
She loves books. What is your favorite book of all time?
Easiest fucking question of the day. The Shining by Stephen King. My favorite book of all time. I've been hooked on it since I read it, like, I want to say in junior high, I read The Shining, because I went through this phase where I was obsessed with Stephen King because my stepsister had it in her closet, and I remember reading it when I'd go to my dad's house. And so I got on a kick for it, and they had him in the library, and The Shining was the first one I read. And I was telling Des, I love this book specifically because it's told in the perspective of the father, Jack Torrance, and talking about his struggle with alcoholism. Stephen King uses a lot of symbolism in his books that relate back to addiction. And so his dad, how they would talk about the hotel and how it was invading and his mind and making him go crazy. that was actually supposed to be the effects of alcoholism and like how it turns you into a monster and you're unrecognizable to your loved ones. And that really spoke to me because I grew up with an alcoholic father. So like seeing it from his perspective, like to a certain extent, Jack couldn't control what was happening. Like he was aware of it and he was it slowly take over him. But by the end of the book, it had consumed him to the point where he couldn't even get a control over it anymore. And it wasn't that he didn't try to be a good dad or wasn't trying to make things right. It's just sometimes shit fucking happens.
Yeah.
And it just really spoke to me and I absolutely love it.
She has multiple copies, y'all.
Yeah, I went, like the spines have torn and I've had to get like 6 or 7 copies of that book.
Audiobooks are a no-go. Even though the audiobook, it was really good.
It was. I still listen to the audiobook
I
too.
really enjoy like how the narrator talked because he was very like into it.
If you're wondering, yes, I did force Desiree to read this book. I forced her entire family to read this book with me.
We actually did a book club. So my favorite book comes from the book club, but I have 2. So my first one is Memoirs of a Geisha. Mary made me read that as well. But I really enjoyed the movie, and Mary was like, the book is 100% better. There's like nothing compared to the book. So I really like it. It's just because this woman had like so much trauma, was sold into a geisha home because her father just couldn't take care of her anymore after her mother died. And it's just her perspective on how she could change her life based on the choices or the opportunities she had.
Yeah, making the best of it.
Yeah. And the second one is My Time in Heaven. I know, bro. I know.
Now who's being the serious one?
I know. I'm not really like that big. This is the only Christian or like Jesus book I've ever read, obviously other than the Bible. I haven't even finished that one. But that one, the man, he was in a car accident and was deemed dead on scene, and he woke up 8 hours, and I believe he was getting rolled to the morgue. So he like woke up and this lady like peed her pants because he was like, hey, where am I? But basically that time that he was dead, he said that he went to heaven and he saw like all these beautiful things. And at the time when I read it, I was just going through like some shit. I was like, man, God does not exist, because obviously I don't have like big trauma. It's just more so like, I guess like
shit adds up.
Yeah, everything was just going wrong at that one point. It could have been something small, but it just, to me, I was like, okay, like it just doesn't matter.
Snowballed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And my Thea gave it to me and she was like, you should really read this book. I just really like it. And I swear, I think that was God talking, because she did not know anything, like what was going on in my head. She was like, just read it. It's really good. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I read it on like a road trip that my family and I had, and it was amazing.
You can read in the car?
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
I don't get motion sickness.
I get motion sickness, and I like, oh God, I have to listen to audiobooks, and like, you know, because you road tripped with me when we went to LA to Vegas, and all I was listening to was audiobooks, and I made y'all listen to them with me.
Yeah. Mary has to drive too. Like she cannot be the one to like, yeah, she can't be the one to sit in like a passenger seat or anything. She has to drive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, you're next.
Okay. What is one thing a loved one has done for you that blew your mind?
I guess the book, the one my Thea gave me, that's just the one that's on my head right now. But also maybe my other Thea that graciously let us house sit for 2 years. Her husband is in the military and they're out of state right now. And they're like, hey, our house is going to be vacant for about 2 years. That gives you enough time to pay more towards the wedding and save up for a house. And that has helped us so much, and I am very grateful.
I'm nervous about saying mine, because mine is again heavy.
Mary,
I know, I'm just full of trauma. It was after my son had passed, and remember how I told you that there was a lot of family members telling me like they were confused as to why I needed a funeral. Mm-hmm. One of those people was someone very close to me. It was my grandpa. He was very confused by it. I didn't want to take it personally, so I just didn't say anything about it to him. It hurt, but I was like, you know what? It's his opinion. I can live with that. I can live with it. That's how he feels about it. He still came to the funeral and stuff. So I didn't, like, it hurt, but I could live with it. I want to say, like, 6 or 7 months later, he asked me to go to dinner with him and my grandmother. So I went with them, and like we didn't even like order yet, and he started crying at the table, and I was like,
oh my God, are you good, homie?
I was so confused. And he was like, I need to apologize to you. He's like, I realized what I said about your son in the funeral. And he's like, I've been thinking about it. He goes, I could tell you were hurt. And even though you didn't say anything to me, I've been sitting with it and thinking about it. And he goes, I feel terrible that I let my personal shit affect how I reacted to you. And he's like, I'm just like, I can't believe I did that. I'm so sorry. Like, do you forgive me? I feel like a terrible person for doing this to you and making you feel any kind of pain. And that was like the first time anybody had made me feel worthy of someone. Like, I was like, who am I to ask you to like
someone you really cared about asked for forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I never felt like I was worthy
enough to be asked.
Mm-hmm. Like anything anyone did to me, I deserved it. And like, even like with the whole thing with when he told me it, I was like, you know what, that's okay. You know, I love him anyways. It doesn't matter. He doesn't need to apologize for it. I'm just going to let this one go. But the fact that he could tell it hurt me so much that it troubled him to do some personal reflection and then come back and apologize to me.
That's so sweet. Mary, stop it. I'm already going to cry. Let's go on something lighter.
Okay.
What kind of music are you listening to right now? Or like, I guess like, what's your genre? Let's pour some wine while you tell me.
Rap music.
Oh, yeah.
It's my shit. I'm obsessed with Kendrick Lamar again right now. And I've been listening, you know what else I've been listening to that I've been like blasting in my car? Lil Wayne.
Oh, dang.
I would like, I heard, was it Lollipop the other day on one of the radio stations I was listening to, and I was like, this shit good. So me and Puka have been blasting that shit in the car every time we get in there now. I'm like, Lollipop.
Oh my God. I don't want to call myself out. So I like a multiple of things. I love K-pop. I will listen to K-pop all the time. I love 4th Gen right now. New Jeans has me in a chokehold. And Twice as well. I love Twice. But I also listen to indie music like Men I Trust, The Marias, Tennis. I guess Arctic Monkeys, but they're like more like mainstream now.
Yeah, they are.
But I like that type of music. If I'm not in a good mood, I'll listen to rock. But it's like a mixture. It's like from the 70s all the way to now.
I like old classic rock, like Led Zeppelin. Mm-hmm. I love Led Zeppelin.
I still like System of the Down, but
we're a little salty.
Yeah, I'll never forgive them
for canceling. One of them, the lead singer, got COVID, and we were going to go see them in concert, and they canceled the day before we were flying out.
Mm-hmm. So we couldn't even like.
We had to still go.
Yeah, our whole plan was ruined.
Yep.
So, fuck you. Okay. Oh, actually, that was my question, so it's your question next.
If you could be reborn as any living thing, what/who would you be?
I want to be a rich person's dog. I thought of that as soon as you showed me your question. A rich person's dog.
I will be Puka.
Or maybe like a dog that's just like well taken care of then, because
I want to be Puka. I legit want to be my dog Puka.
Because like I have to do nothing.
Mm-hmm. Puka does nothing all day. He gets told he's a good boy and he's beautiful.
I want that.
And I want his life so bad. Other people at work too, when I used to take him in office with me, they would always say that. They're like, I want to be Puka. I want to die and come back as Puka. He eats good. He has toys. He has tons of friends. He had more friends than I did in the office.
Maybe a cat too. So if my owner's being whack, smack the fuck out of him.
Yeah, and then not get in trouble.
And they're like, it's just cat things. What are your deepest values?
Like personal values?
Anything.
Authenticity is very important to me.
Dang.
Loyalty and understanding.
I know we talked about it in self-worth, but I love being the go-to person. I don't know like the professional word for it, but I love that anyone can come to me for advice or they need help with something, and vice versa. I can call anyone in my family and they will do the same thing.
like the value in your your relation. I don't know the professional way of saying it either, but I get what you mean. Like,
Yeah.
they're showing you like appreciation with each other.
Mm-hmm. I guess appreciation then.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yo, this wine's making me hot.
You're getting a little buzzed already?
Not buzzed. I'm just hot now. And my house is always cold.
Yes, freezing cold. Like my feet will never be normal temperature after leaving her house for at least a couple hours.
You probably will get frostbite.
Okay. Would you ever like to know what happened after we die, or would you prefer it be a secret?
No, I would love to know. If I could ask the Almighty, like, what happens, I would love to know. Like, right now I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. It's, like, one of my favorite series that Andrew showed me, like, video game-wise. And it's about how the humans fucked up the world, left Earth, but there's still some on Earth, and they're 1,000 years apart. And during that 1,000 years, the humans have no clue what the fuck happened. So, like, our people, like us now, are called the quote-unquote old ones, and their old ways, even though they're, like, so much more technologically advanced. I couldn't say the word. So I would freaking love to know, you know?
I've already kind of made up my own mind that I'm going to see my son. So I wouldn't want to, if it's a different than that, I don't want to know.
You're like, oh, no, I'm cool.
Yeah, other than that, I'm cool.
Okay. What is your biggest pet peeve? I wrote that wrong. I put, what are your pet peeves?
The biggest one I have right now is Robert laughing every time I try to talk about something serious with him. And I get so mad.
Okay, what about, like,
in general?
For general, like, if anyone did it to you.
I don't know if it's, like, considered, like, it would be called a pet peeve, but I hate it when I can tell someone's lying to me. It irritates me, even if it's stupid stuff. Like, it just irritates me. Like, just tell the truth.
Mine's chewing with your mouth open. Not you, but, like, someone chewing with their mouth open.
I used to do that when I was little, and my mom would get so mad at me. So now I'm like...
I tell everybody, like, if someone chews with it, I'm like, close your mouth. Or I'll be like, are you a cow? Because my dad would tell me that.
Do you believe in destiny?
Yes. I'm not ready to talk about it, but I really believe that God sent me Andrew.
Oh, how cute.
So cute. Now he knows. He's going to hold that forever.
He's going to want to know in private now. I do believe in destiny, but I don't know how to elaborate on that.
That's okay.
I just do. I believe that there's, like, certain things are just going to end up happening whether I want them to or not.
Yeah. I guess it's also, do you believe in karma? Like, that's not one of my questions. It's just more so like...
I wish it would happen faster.
Me too. Sorry, I had to get a drink. What activity can instantly calm you? Let's say you had a bad day at work. You're just frustrated and you just need some time to cool off. What is the activity you're going to do?
Hold puka.
Okay.
Do the deep pressure therapy with him. Have him, like, I'll lay on my back and have him lay on my chest. And he instinctively knows something's wrong. So he doesn't just lay on me. He, like, puts all of his weight on me and, like, tucks his head into my neck.
Yeah. I thought about it. I like listening again to, like, indie music because it's just so, like, mellow. And I'll just, like start position on the bed and just look at the ceiling.
Yeah, just kind of zone out. Okay, what's one thing you would do if fear weren't stopping you?
Go ghost hunting.
Ooh. I forgot your chicken shit about it.
Because I think something will attach to me. Like, if I go. It's just my luck. I won't go to the Zach Baggins Museum. Andrew and I just recently went to Vegas, and Mary was like, go to the museum. I'm like, fuck no. Something's coming back with me. I just feel it.
I love that museum.
Well, because I told Andrew, I'm like 100% sure something follows us, because Andrew and I will always have, like, weird things happen to us no matter where we are. Like, it can be at my parents' house, his parents' house, this house. We could just be out, like, at a hotel and something happens, you know?
Yeah.
So if one of us is already attached, I don't need another one.
My thing would be jumping out of an airplane. If I wasn't afraid of heights, as deathly as I am afraid of heights, I jump out of a fucking airplane.
Like skydive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was like, or just like
No, not like outfitting myself that way. I would skydive. Like I want to do it so bad, but I'm terrified of heights. Like absolutely terrified.
Andrew hates heights, but that's one of his bucket lists.
Me and you, Andrew, we'll get over this together.
He's like, I want to do it so bad. I'm like, you hate going up into the airplane and looking out the window. He's like, it's different. It's different.
Andrew, let's make it a goal that from a year from now, we'll do the iSky. 2 years from now, we're going to do it.
Not 2 years.
I honestly, I think it'll take that long to work me up to it too.
Okay. Every day, just jump off one step.
We'll go a little higher every day.
Like one stair, and then the next week a chair.
Like, all right, and then now we're gonna do a building. And like, well,
Oh my god. Okay, what is your so I'll let Mary say it. What is your favorite thing about your current job?
I get to work from home.
You should tell the listeners.
I started a new job.
We're very proud.
I'm very excited.
We're clapping.
It took me forever to find a new job. I was being very particular about what I wanted in my next job, and I definitely wanted to work from home. I did not want to go into an office anymore. I don't like office politics. I'm getting too old to still be playing them, and I just want to do something a little more. I want my life outside of work to matter more than my job.
Right. That's an upcoming episode.
I know. I'm excited to talk about it.
Ooh, we're giving you a spoiler. So my current job, I work from home already, so that's like one thing. But my favorite thing is I'm not micromanaged. I worked at a call center and I hated it. If I didn't make like a specific, like I could only have like 8 minutes to a call. And some of those calls like lasted me like basically an hour, and I would get in trouble for it, but I'm helping like the customer. It was stupid. So this job, like I'm not micromanaged whatsoever. They just look at, because I have a shared email with my department, and they just look, they're like, oh, you're doing your job. You're doing great. That's it.
That's nice.
If you need help, just message me.
I just started this one, so I'm not so sure if the micromanaging is going to like pop up, but that would definitely be a deal breaker for me because I don't like that. I know I'm a good worker, and I don't like feeling like I'm under this invisible microscope all the time.
Exactly. Oh, it's your next.
Do you believe in soulmates?
Yes. It's the same thing with destiny. I really believe Andrew was given to me.
By the Lord.
By the Lord. He put a peace sign up. Okay, what's the worst job you've ever had?
I used to work at, I'm not going to say the name of the organization, but it was an animal related organization. And I was a manager there. I only lasted like maybe 2 weeks because they worked the crap out of me during that time. But there was an aspect of the job too where I actually had to take the animals that were going to have to be euthanized for whatever reason to the back. And that was like the worst job ever.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
I could not do that.
It was hard.
I know that's like a vet, you have to prepare yourself for that if you want to become one. And I could not do it.
Yeah, because I was the manager, it was my responsibility to do it. I only had to do it like once, but it was still a lot.
Especially you never know.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad. I don't want to cry. Let's take a break and drink some wine.
Okay.
What are we having again? Oh.
I think the call center was your worst job, right?
No.
Oh, shit. I'm drinking a little more wine.
The Army.
Okay.
I only say that because I only went to basic, obviously, but I only say it's the worst job because of this one specific instance. I had to sweep leaves off the sidewalk, but it was windy, and I had to be punished because the wind took my pile away.
That sucks.
So, like, not the Army, but, like, that specific job I had to do when I was in basic is my worst one. One time I had to rake the tree. I don't know what, like, if you're not busy, you're going to be busy doing something dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your turn.
When was the last time you tried something new? This is a hard one for Des because she never does anything new. She's a creature of habit.
Yeah, Andrew is not. He loves trying things new. I hate it. I think I hate it because, like, if I don't like it, then I feel like I've wasted my time. And I don't think like my time is like super valuable. It's just more so like I feel like I could have done something that I'm used to that I would have actually had fun at. I guess when we went to Vegas and we tried food.
You actually tried new food? I had to like look at Andrew for confirmation because I didn't believe her.
Yeah. But it's like a compromise. Like, well, my glasses are foggy now because I'm like hot. It's like a compromise. Like we tried this new like bakery cafe, but we went because I really wanted like an Italian type of style. So Andrew's like, okay, let's go there. That's something new. Where else did we eat?
Some weird cafe. Was that super expensive cafe?
Oh my God, yeah. See, that was what was upset me too. It was one, I was tired as shit, okay? So I'm just like tired and I'm out of it. And also that's when I started, so the week we were there, Andrew got sick and the last time I got sick. So I was just not feeling good and I was so tired. So like I was already like I wasn't having fun at all. And then we went to that cafe and we spent $70 on 5 things. And it wasn't even that good. One of those things was a box of macaroons. Andrew knows I love macaroons. Macarons.
Macaron.
And they were so bad. They tasted like they were a week old and they were in a refrigerator for that whole week.
Ugh.
They were like $25. And I was like, Andrew, this isn't even worth it. Like, but when we, like, again, I just feel like I wasted my time and I wasted money that Andrew and I could have put towards something better.
Yeah. The last time I tried something new was last Friday. We went to a new bar with my siblings, and Robert, love that man, pain in the ass, but I love him. He went inside to get us drinks, and he came out with 3 drinks when I only, like, it was supposed to be one for me, one for him, and I was like, where'd the third one come from? He goes, they just gave it to me. And like, I was like, oh, did you show your tits? And he was like, are you kidding me? And he put my drink down and like went to go sit down. Then he started bragging to my siblings about it, and literally each one, did you show your tits?
It's just our thing. Like if something like funny like that happens, we're like, dang, what'd you show?
Yep. And that's how, like, my brothers, each of them, when he told, because he repeated the story to everybody as they were coming back from the bar, and each of them were like, dang, Robert, you show your tits?
But again, that's like a healthy relationship. When Andrew and I were dating, we would like, when we would go to the movies, we would individually like go buy tickets or like go buy food, because it was smart. Because they would like hit on Andrew and they'd be like, oh, you need 2 tickets? I'll just let you pay for 1. And the same thing for like food. They're like, oh, you're here by yourself? Like, don't worry about the popcorn. I'd be like, look what I got! And vice versa, Andrew too. I don't know. That's just our thing. What is your greatest accomplishment?
I'm super proud of my degrees.
I thought you were going to say that, but you know, she waited a little longer than usual.
Because it was also like my marriage. I'm very proud of how strong my marriage is. So that was like a close. But then I wanted
So
something a little more.
I'm just kidding.
That's what I said. I was thinking too. I was like, but I wanted something a little more specific to me. So I went with my degrees.
Mine's going back to school.
Yeah, that was really big for you.
Not because I'm very thankful for my dad. My dad and my mom, they were both very open about school did not have to, or college was not for everybody. And that's okay. So obviously, as soon as I like graduated high school, I joined the Army because I could have gone to college because I was good at school. I just didn't really want to. But now, like, I'm just thankful that both of my parents, as well as Andrew, were open with me going back to school. Because in my eyes, or at least like in the Latino culture, I'm too old to be figuring out my life. I should have figured it out as soon as I graduated.
No, you should have figured it out at birth and then been able to navigate the waters since then to be an amazing person by the time you graduated high school. As soon as you graduated high school, you should have had an amazing job, a house, your own car.
Exactly. I should have been married as soon as I got my diploma. But I'm just very thankful that my parents were open with me going back to school and were very helpful with me going back to school because I needed some of their paperwork, their W-2s, and that shit was hard to get.
Sometimes people, like I've heard stories from other people where their parents weren't being very helpful with the financial aid process because they were worried they were going to get saddled with debt. And I think that, to me, that's just a a sign of ignorance of our culture that we don't pick up the phone and call and ask questions and put ourselves in a position where we can help our kids and get the full story. My next question: who do you sometimes compare yourself to? Dun, dun, dun.
I don't. Do I? I don't like to compare myself because I know I'm different. I know I'm unique and every person's unique, so I shouldn't. My journey is different from everybody else's and vice versa. Their journey is different from mine. I don't think it's okay to compare yourself to other people. And it's really big in our culture, by the way. To be compared to your cousins or your siblings.
I think I compare myself to my mother a lot. I don't think it's necessarily like we're in competition with each other. It's more of, am I holding myself up to her expectations of me? Like, I guess I'm comparing myself to the person that I think my mom perceives me as.
That's a golden child. Mm-hmm. I don't think of that as an expectation, but I do have that problem with my parents too. They're here while we're recording this. So I'm like making sure I don't get ojo. They don't intend to. It's just our culture.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. What do you value most in friendship?
Honesty.
I was going to say the same thing. Honesty. Mm-hmm. And I know it's weird to say loyalty.
Yep. Well, loyalty, I mean, I try not to get hung up on it because my perception of loyalty can be skewed. So I had this issue in the past where, like, not more recently because I've adulted enough to get over it, but I would get real, like, jealous if I thought that my friends were hanging out without me.
Oh, were you having like FOMO?
I think I was in high school.
FOMO, the fear of missing out.
And it wasn't even just like the fear of missing out. It was like a fear that they would have a stronger connection than they had with me.
Okay.
So I would always have a hyper focus on that.
Okay.
A lot.
Maybe I shouldn't say loyalty. I would say trust.
Yeah, I like trust.
Because we already had Priscilla on the podcast. She is my best friend. I've known her since sophomore year. And coincidentally, she is also from the place Andrew's from. So, I don't know. We've had like multiple instances where like we've trusted each other enough to like we're both coming from a good place. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What's the most sensible thing you've ever heard someone say?
Can I have an example? I feel like Jeopardy or something.
Can you use it in a sentence? Well, mine is actually something I heard Tom Hanks say on one of I don't know which magazine does it. It might be Vanity Fair. They do a roundtable with actors where they discuss like life and their lessons that they've learned and like just different topics. Tom Hanks actually said something that I really liked, which this too shall pass. So like the feelings of pain will pass, the feelings of fear, anxieties, they'll all pass. But on the same token, happiness will pass, calm will pass. Like everything is temporary. So not to get stuck in one or the other. Like don't get stuck craving the happiness. It'll come again. It'll pass.
This is gonna be weird. But when my grandma was alive, one time she was showing us like her favorite song, which was like a Christian song. And she was like, I want this to be played when I die at my funeral. And I'm only saying it's sensible because at the time I was still little. So I really thought my grandma was going to like be alive forever and always be with me. Coincidentally, it was like 3 years later. And then she passed away.
Yeah. But then it gave you something.
Yeah. I love the memories I have with her.
Yeah.
I know it's a weird answer, but I don't know.
It made sense to me.
It like spoke volumes to me. Let me see. What is mine? What challenges do you most want to overcome in yourself?
That's a good one. The feeling like I need to wear a mask all the time. Like I need to be a certain person to be accepted by people.
Okay. I really thought you were talking about COVID. I was like, okay.
No, not the COVID mask. I actually really like the mask.
I do too.
I did not mind wearing it at all. I didn't get overheated. I loved it. And it made it so I could go out in public and not give a fuck about what I look like.
I worked at the office when COVID happened. And so I got to wear it like full PPE mask for 8 hours.
Ugh.
Dude, I will not agree with anybody that's like, I can't breathe in this. I'm very sorry. That is my opinion. You can breathe in it. I think you were just being a baby.
Yeah.
I'm savvy, but I'm not savvy.
I liked those jokes people would make about like the mask smells. He goes, dude, that's your breath.
Dead ass. What is mine? Oh, no.
It's mine.
Yes.
What gets you excited about life?
Andrew and I just talked about this, growing old together.
Aww.
I know it's weird. I know it's weird, but I was like, what are you going to look like when you're old? And we were talking about it. And he was like, I'm kind of excited to see you old, but not too old, Des. You can't be too old.
I guess it's something that you guys get excited about at the beginning. Because I've been married for like 8 years and I'm like, I think I've gotten over the fact that I've chosen this person to be with the rest of my life. So yeah, it's exciting, but like just spending time with him, like in the now. And then not just him, like my brothers too. My brothers, I always get excited to see them and my grandpa. I make a day out of it when I get to see them.
What skill do you have that could make you money?
You know, a lot of people have told me that they think I'd be a really good therapist because I can talk back with people really well and make them feel comfortable.
That's the whole podcast.
So I was like, that's I think the skill that if I chose to like utilize it in a business sense, I think I could make a lot of money off of being able to do, like being a therapist. Robert's like, I think that you'd never have an issue getting clients.
For real. Would you actually do it though? I have a friend that's one for like children, and she was like, it's hard.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I haven't done it is because it can like, it's hard for me. Okay, there's two parts to it. The first part is if I don't like you, I cannot empathize with you. Like if I get to the point where you're doing it over and over again to yourself, I can't help you.
Yeah.
So I would just stop talking to you. And the other part of it is like when you hear the really sad stuff and not having to carry that home with you.
Yeah. And I think that's what's hard. At least like from what I think as like a therapist.
I think that's what's hard for cops too and firefighters because they're with people during like the darkest periods of their lives. How do you not carry that home with you?
EMTs too. They
First
see
responders.
everything. Yeah, that's really sad.
What's the skill you have?
Andrew says I would be really good as a voice actress.
Oh yeah, I like that.
What's crazy is Andrew says I am not a good voice for podcasts, but I would be really good for voice acting.
I think because you have a lot of emotion in your voice.
That's true. Also, because sometimes, like, if I'm really happy about something, I'll, like, speak in a higher tone. And Andrew says I sound... What is his name? When I do that... Ta-dam. Oh, Yoshi. He says I sound like Yoshi. But I have to, like, be in, like, a higher tone. I can't do it.
You have a really good vocal range.
I can't do it. See, he got me on the spot. Ta-dam. Like, I can't. It's too... Ta-dam. Like,
you have a good vocal range is what he's trying to say.
Yeah. If I put like time and effort into it, I feel like I would, but it's just really hard business.
Yeah. What life lesson did you learn the hard way?
I don't know. I would say work-wise. Like, I know I know nothing is handed to you, but I guess my life was just going a little too good. And I got the rug like pulled out under me when I had to like become a big kid in my own for the first time.
Yeah.
So I guess like maybe money wise was it. Yeah. How to focus on learning how to budget more.
I think that's something a lot of people could say, especially in our culture because we don't talk about money.
No. I actually had a cousin. As soon as I said I was getting an apartment, he sat me down and he was like, this is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to get better at money managing. And this is how you're going to get your credit up. And this is how you're going to get your credit up so you can buy a car. And I was like, oh my God, okay.
I think mine, it doesn't matter how much you love somebody. you can't change them.
Yeah. I wish I knew that sooner.
Me too. I think that was the hardest lesson for me to like get through my head.
'Tis not about our significant others.
No, it hasn't to do with, but it has to do with my past significant others, other
even
authority
family members.
figures. Yeah, like
Me, it's more family members than anything.
yeah, it's the same because I haven't dated a lot, so it was just like one particular person that was my other big relationship, and it's like it should have ended a lot sooner than it did because I was just holding on.
Mine was, I guess, family. I knew you can't change adults when you're a kid.
But
I thought they would change knowing that I'm just a kid.
yeah,
You know? Let's take a break.
Wine.
Let's drink that wine before we... My next question's pretty funny.
What question are we on?
16 for me.
15 for me. It's because we skipped one of Dez's.
Yeah. Mary, do you believe in aliens?
Yes. Robert has showed me. I didn't always, and then Robert started showing me all these conspiracy videos, and I'm like, that looks so real. It looks so real. It's legit. The government's hiding it.
So when we were in Vegas, we actually went to the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles.
Ooh.
And like we got to see like the whole space, you know, like what we can see in space. It was crazy. I can't imagine people thinking that we are the only civilization in the universe. Not just our universe, but like in our galaxy, in multiple other galaxies too.
Yeah.
It's just, there's no fucking way.
It
If we are
scares me.
alone, what is that one? It was, I can't remember how the guy said it, but if we're alone, if we're not alone, or if we are alone, both are scary.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how the saying goes.
I know. I think I heard the same thing. I think it was.
It's like if we are alone or if we are not alone, both are still equally terrifying.
Both are still equally terrifying. Because imagine, how are we able to survive, but no one else is, or nothing else is?
And then if we die out, what does that mean?
Exactly. No way. Next.
What do you wish you spent more time doing 5 years ago?
How old was I 5 years ago? 19? What were we doing at 19? You know what? Building my credit.
That's a good one.
As an adult, Andrew and I, we're saving up for a house, obviously. I wish I built my credit. I was more focused on saving and putting my life insurance in order. I totally forgot about credit, bro. Totally forgot about that guy.
Yeah, I think I think we should have an episode where we just talk about finances with the Latino culture and why they're all over the place. It's because we don't talk about stuff like that. But yeah, I think definitely I think at that point we had already moved into our house. What was I doing then? 5 years ago? And answer my question and I'm like, who was I?
Off podcast. How old are you? Mary.
I don't give much thought to my age, to be honest with you. I know I'm going to be 30 this year.
Okay, so we're 8 years apart. No.
I'm going to
we're
be
6.
30.
5. If she's going to be 30, we're going to be 25. We're 5. So you were 25.
Mm-hmm. So I was already in my house. I think I was pregnant
Nuh-uh.
in 2017.
Oh my God, yes you were.
Mm-hmm. Enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
I didn't want my pregnancy to slow me down, so I just kept bulldozing through it. Like my body wasn't going through all these changes, and now I wish I'd spent a little more time being kind to myself.
Let's take another sip. Again, heavy topic. Now I'm going to a funny one. What is the scariest supernatural encounter you have had?
It is not funny at all. My scariest one. And it wasn't scary. It was scary at the time, but it terrified me later when I thought back on it. So I was in high school and my brother and I were spending the night at my grandparents' house. We were sleeping in the living room. And I woke up and I saw my brother standing in the corner and looking out the window because she had like a, what are those, the triptych mirror kind of thing? It wasn't a mirror, but it was like a window.
Yeah, like
the
think
windows.
of those like the breakfast nook.
Yes.
type of windows?
Yeah, and he was standing there looking out the window, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, come back to bed." And then I felt something move on the bed, and so I look over, and my brother's laying next to me. So then I got like, and I looked back, and it wasn't him anymore. It was like a black silhouette was standing there, and I just stared at it like I was terrified. I could feel like my throat closing up, and I like a car drove by, and when it flooded in the room, it was just pure dark blackness standing there. And like it lifted its arms like it was cradling a baby and was like rocking it, and then it like shook its head at me, and then it like dissipated into the ground. Like it looked like it was melting into the ground. It like shook its head after and then just disappeared. I told my mom, my grandma, the next day. I was like, I think it was telling me that I wasn't gonna have a kid, or if I was gonna lose a child.
That's what I was thinking right now.
And my grandma told me, no, that's not what it was, Mija. You're reading too much into it. And this happened to me in high school. And I was like, no, Grandma, I think it was warning me that I wasn't going to have children. And she's like, no, that's not what it was doing. Like, you're giving it credence when it was nothing. But then, like, I smelled the sage burning. When I came back, we went to the store and I came back. She'd obviously cleansed the room. So she took me seriously, but she didn't want me to get scared.
Yeah.
And it didn't, like that moment, like went back in my mind and I forgot about it. And I didn't think about it until I lost my son again. And I was like, what the fuck came to me and told me that?
I think we talked about it like months after Ollie. Mm-hmm. That I was like, Mary, didn't you tell me a story about this? And then like you like came back to it. I remember that. I guess like my scariest one would be my sleep paralysis, but I guess two things. So a week before I had my sleep paralysis, which is my scariest event that has ever happened to me so far. A week before, I was living at my parents' house. I was falling asleep on the couch, and I remember hearing like a man. It was weird, like an older man, like whisper at me, like, "Hey, wake up." But I knew I was alone, and it wasn't like my dad, like how he talks, you know. So I was like, "Who the fuck was that?" So when I like turned my head, I felt someone or something like pull my hair, like, and I like turned. I was like, "What?" And I just ran upstairs. So a week after that, I woke up in the middle of the night, and my phone was right next to my I guess my hip, so I was able to like look, and coincidentally it was it was lit up, and it was 3:33 a.m. I was like, ooh, that's
the witching hour.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, that's a scary time. I remember thinking that, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go to bed. But I wanted to get like more comfortable because I was laying on my back, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get more comfortable, more of a figure 4 gal myself. And I couldn't move. It's sleep paralysis. I couldn't move, and then I noticed I could only move my eyeballs. And I looked in the top corner of my room, and I saw like this big black, I don't know how to explain it. It looked like, I don't know, like think of Spider-Man in a corner of a room, like holding on to the corners to like gain balance, but all black. And I didn't even see eyes or anything. So I was like, what the fuck is that? And then once I'm blind as shit without my glasses. So I didn't have glasses on. So I like squinted my eyes to understand what the fuck I was seeing. And it moved to the other side of my room, which is where my door is, the other corner. And my door was open, and it closed the door on me. Like it closed the door, and I got scared. And I wasn't really religious, so I just started praying. I was like, please, God, please don't let anything happen to me. I don't know what's going on. And as I was praying, like a pressure was on me. Oh my God, it felt like 1,000 pounds was on my chest. Like it was like that Spider-Man looking thing was like on my chest. Like you're sitting down, but on your legs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it was looking down at me, and it started like growling at me. I was like looking at this microphone. I was like, I bet you if I did it in this microphone, it would sound exactly how I felt. It was like screaming, but with no voice, with growling. Does that make?
Yeah, like it was roaring at you.
And I could feel like the hot breath, but I couldn't smell nothing, you know, just to make sure. And I just kept going and praying, and then it just stopped. And it felt like hours had gone by, and it was only like 2 minutes.
Dang. That was scary.
That was like the first time I went to go sleep with my parents again. And my mom like woke up to me at the edge of the bed. She was like, "What happened?" And I told her, and she was like, "Don't think about it." Okay, your turn.
Do you ask enough questions or do you settle for what you know?
I ask way too many questions.
Same.
Sometimes I feel like I always tell like my work manager, I'm like, "I'm sorry if I sound dumb. I just need to know, and I need reassurance."
Okay, your turn.
Oh. What's a skill you would like to learn?
I want to learn how to play the acoustic guitar.
I know a guy. It's Andrew.
I was like, is it that guy?
Yeah. Mine's crocheting.
I want to learn how to crochet too, but I suck. I can't get past the first line.
I can hand crochet, like with big chunky yarn. I just can't do it with the tools. And I know it's the same pattern and thing. It just, the tools are in my way. Just doesn't work for me.
Ooh, this is a good one. Who do you love and what are you doing about it?
I love Andrew, and I'm a toxica to him. That's what I'm doing about it. He recently told me, he's like, "Yeah, you're a toxica, but it's okay. I knew what I was marrying into." I was like, "Huh? Excuse me?"
I think it's my siblings. Like, I love Robert too, and I do a lot for him just naturally. But I feel like with my siblings, because they're getting to the age where they're starting to like get their own lives and move away, I'm having to be really active about being present in their lives.
Yeah. Just like you said, you want to keep the bond strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand. What is your go-to food?
Spaghetti.
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 Mine is pizza.
I know you love pizza.
I love pizza. I'll fuck it up. I love pizza.
Robert loves pizza too and hates spaghetti, so that's just weird. What's a belief that you hold with which many people disagree?
Oh, like a hot take. Women's rights.
People disagree with that?
Mm-hmm. Just a lot of people around me.
Yeah.
I believe that it's my body and it's my choice. I'm saying this really low. Don't cancel us.
I think the one thing I hold on to that a lot of people disagree with, and it's like a personal preference, I guess. Like the other challenge, I guess it relates back to the challenge question that like I need to be able to let go of toxic people in my life and put boundaries. And I get a lot of pushback from family when I try to do that with other family. Like my family should have like a free card to just be total trash to me, and
No
then
way.
I should just put up with it.
No way. I agree with you. 100%.
If you had a friend who spoke to you in the same way that you sometimes speak to yourself, how long would you be friends with that person?
Oh my God. I don't even want to be friends with myself.
I know. Like when I heard that question, I was like, I would drop that bitch.
Instantly.
Yes, I would not want anything to do with her.
I'd be like, you disgust me.
You're
thinking you
the
can talk to
bitch.
me like that. You's a bitch. You's a fat bitch. But me, I could say it to myself all day. I'm like, you fat bitch.
I find comfort in being that way with myself.
Sometimes I would say things like that, and I'll be like,
Because I'm like, everyone's full of shit. I'm a piece of shit. Yeah. Okay, what's your final question?
do you have any regrets in your life right now?
Ooh, we talked about that a little earlier. The one regret I have has to do with the person I dated before Robert, maybe two people before Robert.
You're like, before Robert, just bad times.
But my other significant relationship, I regret the person I was when I was with that person. Like, I was horrible. Like, not that he was great either to me, but I allowed myself to become like this monster around him. And I regret everything that happened. Like how ugly I was to him, how ugly I was to other people because of how I felt about the situation. Like, I own that. I have to own that. It doesn't matter how he treated me. I should not have taken it to the level I did.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, and I don't want to cry. I'm already tearing up. I regret not being able to say anything at Ollie's funeral because I missed it. I'm gonna cry.
I forgot about that until right now because y'all got lost.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
I blame Apple. It took us to a whole different place, and it's not that I regret it because, like, obviously I was gonna say stuff that like really meant to the heart. I just felt like I betrayed y'all.
No.
I know that. I know that you understood that I was lost because at the time, y'all, I don't know shit. It was just more so I felt like y'all gave me that chance and y'all trusted me enough to like do that, and I didn't fulfill it.
Oh, I forgot because you were the godmother. You were going to do a part of the ceremony, and I had my little sister step in and do it, but I understood. Like, you got lost. A lot of people got lost, to be honest. A lot of people showed up a little bit late because the church I wanted to do the ceremony in was the church I was baptized in.
Yeah.
And it was really important to me, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I'm thankful that I was able to go to like the actual like
baptism and
baptism.
everything.
It's just more so like the ceremony itself I wasn't able to go to. And another thing was my job at the time didn't let me take the day off. So like that was another regret because I would have loved to be there for you and like help you, and I just couldn't. My job wouldn't let me.
Yeah, and I think that's really messed up because you were the godmother. It's not like you were a random person.
Yeah, my manager understood, but it's just more so at the time we were understaffed, and I felt like it was my, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it
Your
was,
responsibility.
Yeah, it was like my responsibility that I was like, okay, I guess I just will take a half day. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My last one. This one's not too bad. What can you do today that you were not capable of a year ago?
Love myself.
Same.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's perfect, but it's much better than it was a year ago.
I think it was also because I was getting married. I really looked at myself really hard. And I really criticized how much I looked. And it wasn't even like, I don't know, like I was fine the way I looked, but it was more so like family members around me like, okay, so you're going to start losing weight for your wedding, right? So it was in my head too, like, okay, I need to start losing weight. So, yeah.
I looked at myself a year ago with zero empathy. Like I had no sympathy for myself at all. Like everything that I was going wrong was my fault. I had done something to cause it. It was karma coming back to me because like I even was like so out of it that I thought that my bad thoughts were creating karma. Like me being tired, well, I'm going to show you what tired is. Like that kind of thing. And now I still have that issue, but it's so much better. It doesn't feel as crippling as it did a year ago.
Damn.
That was fun though.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it. And these last two ones were a little hot, a little heavy.
And if you're going to ask somebody these questions, be prepared that they will not probably answer to some of them. But I think this is a fun activity. If you have a loved one or a friend that you want to get to know better, definitely play 20 questions with them.
Yeah, I agree. Mary and I both looked them up on Google and came up with some, oh my God. We came up with some questions ourselves.
Yeah, but most of mine came from Google because I was intentional that I wanted to do something thought-provoking. So if you're going to use Google, make sure you put in keywords about what kind of conversation you want to have, and that might steer some of the search results.
I did deep questions for best friends.
Ooh, I like that.
I hope we're best friends.
I hope so too.
So thank you so much for sitting and drinking some wine with us on Now Try It With Wine. I'm Des.
And I'm Mary.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
And don't you forget that charcuterie board, you heard?